they had me facing away from the mirror and then kind of did a big reveal, and I didn't recognize myself. If you can imagine for the first time looking at your reflection and not seeing yourself, there's no part of me that is there.
Hey everyone, I'm Anna Rumor with PopCulture, and today I'm here with Emmy Rossum to talk about Peacock's new series, Angelyne. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
Well, obviously, Angelyne is such an icon. Can you tell me a little bit about what went into preparing to become her? Because she just nailed every little affectation.
Oh gosh. 4.5 years of love and study and imagination. I first saw an Angelyne billboard when I was 13 in LA for the first time with my mom driving in like a Hertz rental car to auditions. And I remember just being taken by her power and her image and how she'd kind of captivated the city's attention. And I was just so fascinated. The more people I asked about her, it seemed like there were so many different stories about her. But she engenders the same feeling in everyone, which is positivity and whimsy, and she is kind of the ultimate fantasy. So for me, I studied her voice, her cadence, her meditation tapes. I read every little interview she'd ever given. I had the opportunity to sit with her and speak with her. So it was, really a long and holistic process. But Angelyne is such an unconventional icon, and she is really a living, breathing piece of performance art. I think, we wanted to take the same unconventional approach with the storytelling. So there are recreations of archive footage that are hyper-realism, and then there's incredible fantasy, right? Where it's like dance numbers and flying cars, and those feel equally authentic to us about the character. So for me, it was a combination of studying everything I could about her and learning it completely on a cellular level, and then really getting to lean into my own creation of the character of Angelyne that's really based on this immense kaleidoscopic mythology, often with so many conflicting stories out there and rumors about her that because really I'm playing the icon that is Angelyne.
Yeah, and I love in the series the idea that Angelyne is such a Rorschach test for everyone who looks at her. What do you personally see whenever you embrace this character when you see her?
I see a woman who is a trailblazer, who is a renegade, who's a rebel. I see a punk rock Barbie doll. I see a woman who is completely in control of her body and her hyper femininity. I see someone who has an uncompromising commitment to the positive, and somebody who seeks to spread joy and light wherever she goes. I think that, what's fascinating about her is that she is so incredibly known in Los Angeles, but also so unknown. And she's kind of done the impossible, which is to maintain that mystery and that mystique and that interest in her, and lift people's spirits for decades. So, in a town that's so fickle, she's really done the impossible.
Absolutely. Well, and as someone who is connected with her so deeply, throughout the series, there's so many people who just really want to get down to the bottom of her past and who she is, quote unquote. How does that strike you?
I think with fame comes a set of challenges. When you are, obviously, something I know very well too, when you're lucky enough to get to share your art with the world, your talents, your abilities, it comes with interest. So I think that, that's a trade-off that you make. And I think that we're at this moment in society where we're talking a lot about identity and ownership of stories. And are you a summation of a bunch of historical facts about your life, or do you get to define who you are for yourself? And in that investigation, I think we start to really crystallize a lot of her power.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we get down to, the historical truth and all of that, it is quite a tragic story for Angelyne. How did the parts that she doesn't necessarily acknowledge go into your portrayal of who she is?
I think for me, the most interesting thing about her is all the different stories that can exist alongside each other. Really kind of grounded and heartfelt sorrow, and then immense commitment to fantasy and joy and whimsy, right? And I think those things that can live alongside each other are what make this woman so incredibly fascinating and make her art, her performance art, so profound. Her fierce commitment to the positive, to rise above any challenge that she may have been through in the past, should be an inspiration to us all, and is certainly to me.
Absolutely. And I love that the series really relies on memory and who's a reliable narrator here. What was that like as an actor to jump into a world where you're never quite sure who's telling you the truth?
I think that's just what's so interesting. You know, we're not a traditional biopic by any means. We are trying to honor the unconventional spirit of this icon through very unconventional storytelling. So we have hyper-realism, reconstructed archive footage, and moments that are more grounded through the perspective of very grounded characters. And then we have moments that feel equally authentic to us, which are just pure fantasy and dance numbers. And I think that all those stories kind of go to investigating like a portrayal of fame and all the different narratives that when you become famous exist about you.
Absolutely. Well, and the physical transformation into Angelyne is wonderful as well. I imagine that was quite the process.
Yeah, it was. We had an incredible team of prosthetics artists and makeup artists, Kate Biscoe and Vincent Van Dyke, who collaborated over many, many months. And this process turned into really 4 years to bring it to life, to transform me into this incredible icon. And it was a very studied and a real love letter to her. She has such a hyper-curation of her image, and finding all the little specificity in that was really incredible. And the first time they kind of did it all on me, they had me facing away from the mirror and then kind of did a big reveal, and I didn't recognize myself. If you can imagine for the first time looking at your reflection and not seeing yourself, there's no part of me that is there. There's always something that's not me. And that was incredibly liberating. And I was able to turn to my own fantasy and imagination with much more ease after making that transformation.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. The series is so wonderful. I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Thank you so much.